Okay, hello everyone. Looks like we're ready to hopefully finish up the second Phoenix Wright game. So, things are not looking very good so far. Huh? How'd I get into this mess? Wait, this looks familiar. That's far enough! You can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yeah, this is playing out just like his nightmare from the first case. What have I done wrong? I cannot allow you to go on like this. But I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence! You are no longer worthy of your title. Except now, it seems to have a lot more context. After what happened last time. I've had this dream before, someplace, as if this day was written into my destiny. Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. Hey, Noble. Yes, I hope so. Hello? Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. You don't look so well, dude. It's him. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is right on today's verdict, too. Now listen up. You better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you. Ever. Maya. Hey, Coolio, where did he get the cognac glass? I know, right? Mia. Maya. How's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it, please! There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. Right? Especially when Pearl is channeling her, you would think that, the difference would be obvious. Now what? Ugh, it's that cursed on guard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it. Oh, it's Dick. You're really mean, pal. Oh, Gumshoe. I'm really, really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after D Killer, pal. Oh. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not gonna give up. Gumshoe. Till the trial's over, till the verdict is handed down, we're gonna do everything we can to find D Killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. That's true. I could do that if they found Maya first. Got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. I see. I have to draw things out. If you go, Mr. Edgeworth, with everything you got, you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. Filibuster the fuck out of this thing. Right. Well, probably... Well, no, probably because Pearl is wearing smaller clothes. So, believe in us. We're gonna give it all we got, just like you! Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Yeah. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. Alright. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ongard. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution's been ready for a while, Your Honor. It is. This is the final trial of the second game. Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being, what exactly was Miss Adrian Anders' role in this murder? That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Anders. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. Ongard. Yes, this did end up being a long one, didn't it? And then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of those actions are those from which she cannot escape. Then you're saying she's guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Anders has nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? Looks like a shell. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Yes, Juan Carrito was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client so to speak, is Matt Ongard. What a surprising turn of events! I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time. So I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can. At least until Mai is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Nah, Shelley D. Killer was the assassin. Ongard was the one who hired him to do it. The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Yep, I think we established before he was the decisive witness. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Okay. I'm, Will Powers. I'm a poor underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, that's, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way, yeah. Wow, self-depreciation much. Oh, Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. No, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? Yes. I didn't know that. But, you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Ongard's room. Okay, sure. Now this is new. After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make him wait for me. Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony. And talking with the bellboy's no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Ongard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, what are you implying? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Huh? A trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in head first, right? After the awards ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. The defendant's room? Why'd you go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother sort of, and I wanted to say congrats. What's wrong? Why'd you stop? Mr. Wright? What is it? You're gonna try and trick me into a corner, aren't you? Uh-oh, he's onto us. Huh? I know I'm just a poor, underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time? Witness, I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Sorry. So you went to the defendant's room, and then... Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly turn to the bad guy here? Still his costume. Are you sure that was Matt Ongard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? He was talking with someone. First I thought it was the bellboy. Wait. At first? What do you mean by that? Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform and had a bottle of juice on a tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. Why was that? Yes, rather have him than Old Bag. Why'd I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry. Guess I'm gonna have to wait patiently on this one. Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant together, correct? Yeah, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? Ah, you saw that too, Noble. Yeah. Yeah, the upcoming update, it's gonna have stuff from 10 and 11. You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? Why is that strange? Yeah, that's a perfectly normal thing to do. So, how long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two, I think. Guess from that night, and couldn't make him wait for me. So who are these guests you're talking about? You guys, of course. You and Maya and Lil Pearl. That would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. This is like squeezing water from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state. I ended up focusing on her. I see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Now I think... At first? What do you mean by that? No, I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. Why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago you stated... you know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Oh, yeah, that's it. You really know your job. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony. You mean about the bellboy, right? Matt gave the bellboy a tip. He gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? Well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much it was? But that's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. I'm afraid I don't follow at all. Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. Ooh. Hopefully we get to ask both. Again, we want to draw this out as long as we can. How much did he tip? How much did he tip the guy? The defendant's a huge star. He can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree? No, sure. But giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much. Would you please clarify for the court about how much you would say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. Why's that? Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash? Ah, well, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? A very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. Judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. The defendant's a superstar. That kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? He's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work. So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Here we go. payment. Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida. Then the bellboy the witness saw. Yes, he was the assassin. Hold your horses now. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley D. Killer left at the scene of the crime. Shelley D. Killer? He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I'm certain that the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley D. Killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head, and I think I just figured something out. Oh? Actually, I saw that bellboy again later that night. What? Yeah, I think I know what he's talking about, actually. Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw. Yes, sir, right away. This time I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. Oh, okay. I thought what he was talking about was, it was when he came to, ask Maya to come with him. I wasn't sure if Powers was still with us then. Thank you very much. That's all we need for now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. D. Killer. Then we shall see. So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer's fairly obvious. That would be correct, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. Ha 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 ha. This is no laughing matter. So wasn't that whole excited to go to the bathroom? That's when the bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Are you sure it was the same bellboy? Yeah. And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform, after all. But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face. Yeah, that's kind of unmistakable. Ugh. So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kinda out of place. How so? So what exactly was so out of place about him? Right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's gonna say next? Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. Call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree, it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers. But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? Yeah, not if he had just delivered something like a bottle of juice. There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really, really is. There really, really isn't. Oh no, we're not gonna do this again, are we? If you two are done being school children... Bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed, ever. Your Honor, I ask the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Edgeworth, are you gonna do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? I see. Very well, this court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, you can amend your testimony, please. Yes, sir. Yeah, I don't think so. Because... Mr. Powers? Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard it was that the bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches and... So? A baseball has stitches? Strange analogy. Are you saying all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed? I'd like to ask the court to please take a look here. This is the crime scene. There's a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Kurita's body. The liquid inside in this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you look at what's on top of the table in the lower right corner here... Right. You can clearly see it's a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Kurita's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left. But... that would mean the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. Ah, but can you prove that Mr. Kurita was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route. I'm terribly sorry. What's with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you'd like to share with us? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed? Huh? I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Ah, shit. What? That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. And? Gloves? Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Oh. Black leather gloves? Why didn't you mention them earlier? I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. This does make the bellboy look really suspicious. Alright, I gotta focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. Oh, come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones. So? A football's made of leather. Oh, Phoenix, 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 Phoenix. Are you saying all footballs are suspicious because they're made of leather? But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant, and then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. Ugh. It seems we finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest? Oh yes, please tell us more. Okay. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. Huh, so he went back to Matt's room. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, went next to the defendant's room? Yeah, I kind of saw all that by accident. Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. All of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Leaving once room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Excuse me? I may be a poor underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying. Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all this from, Mr. Powers? Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye, in a sort of sneaky, spy-like... I knew he was spying. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know. He gave something to the person inside the room. Something? I said hold it. Okay. That's better. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Oh, okay. I should probably ask him only one question at a time. The person who... Ask about the person. So who took this something the bellboy handed off? Actually, I don't know. What do you mean? I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face. Yeah. Well, it was Mr. Enguarde's room, correct? So it could have only been Mr. Enguarde himself, I'd say. Or one other person. And then, what did the bellboy do after that? Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room this thing, the old guy just left without even going into the room. Let's ask him about the other thing. He gave something to this person. Yeah. And what was this something? If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I? But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you sure you really can't remember, Mr. Powers? I think it was something kind of small. I'd like to summarize this testimony up to this point, if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. Yes, it was just like that. Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important? Of course, Your Honor. I think this is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was the bellboy handed off. Well, let's see. I think it was... No. If you remember, please add it to your testimony. Yes, sir. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. Ooh. We found something like that. But I think it was in, it was in Enguarde's house. A wooden bear-shaped figurine covered in many thin cuts. Okay, ellipses for everybody. What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where'd that objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show this. Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breath. Mr. Powers, the something you saw, was it this item? Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Well, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this at Matt Ungard's mansion. At the defendant's house? What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley D. Killer assassinated Juan Corrida in his room. And then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Ungard's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Matt Ungard is D. Killer's client. Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you. Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I almost forgot he knew about it too. I think it's clear that there's no need for us to continue this trial. I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. Yes, Mr. Wright? There are still a few points left we haven't fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to explore further? We still don't know who received the bear. There was one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear. And that is the identity of the person who received the bear. He gave something to the person inside the room. Sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear, we can't be sure of... Oh! Huh? What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're gonna scream like that, then at least give us a good reason why. Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, so, I remembered. I remembered who took the bear. What? Really? I mean, I only saw his arm. But, the arm... It was the Nickel Samurai's arm, I swear it! You've gotta be kidding! Are you sure of that, Mr. Powers? Yeah, I'm sure. It was the Nickel Samurai. Shit. Although... Well, no, not yet. Order! It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. What do you mean, yet again? How many times is that today? I've lost count. So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And, as we all know, Matt Ungard is the Nickel Samurai. But we already established that, Adrian was wearing the costume also. Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer. What am I supposed to do now? Mia, help! You don't have time to act lost. You've got to find another angle to attack this from. Hurry. Now, I'll bring this cross-examination... Your Honor. Again, Mr. Wright. We've already removed any and all questionable areas of this testimony. It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. I have to find something. Even one more little point will do. There's still questions left unanswered. Again, I think it's fairly obvious the bear itself is very questionable. The bear? Mr. Wright? This was found at Mr. Ongard's mansion. However, Mr. Ongard was arrested at the hotel that night. Exactly. So how'd the bear get to his house? Which means that since the murder occurred, he's not had a chance to go home. Oh. I think Your Honor's already figured out what I'm trying to say. It's not possible that it was Mr. Ongard who took this bear to his mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There was no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Does that, You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Ongard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. That butler. All this time he was D-Killer. Oh. D-Killer and Ongard were working together, so to speak. And D-Killer was hiding at Ongard Mansion as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Ongard Mansion by D-Killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Ongard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything I can attack at all? I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion. Yeah, that's not going to help our case at all. As well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything's become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Ongard. I see no reason for this trial to continue. Therefore, I will now hand down my verdict. Thank you, Your Honor, for your understanding. You see, Mr. Wright? You couldn't win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth stated is the truth. Any last objections, Mr. Wright? Well, do I? What should I do? Well, we have to do something. And I think I know what. There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason two, that very same figurine was found at Ongard's mansion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chewbacca. However, it's possible this is all the work of a certain other person. What are you saying? What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is D-Killer's real client. The real client? Yes. Is this all you have Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is D-Killer's real client and therefore the real murderer? Oh boy. Sorry to have to do this, but right now we don't have much of a choice. Adrian Andrews? Yes, we already know she tried to frame Matt Engard for the crime. By wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. Oh! Then the nickel samurai's arm that I saw, that could very well have been Ms. Andrews. But what about Mr. Engard? If you'd please recall yesterday's testimony, the defendant was taking a nap during the break period. That's right. Then, finding this figure at Mr. Engard's mansion, it was a well-laid trap set by Ms. Andrews. Are they not buying it? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Besides which, there is no evidence to support it. However, I cannot fully discount its possibility either. What's with this trial? Come on, anyone can tell Engard did it. I can't believe the defense would go so far as to pin the guilt on someone else. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on. Order! 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 All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor. For the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. Yeah, that is a very good point. D-Killer did specifically bring that bear to Engard right away. Why do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. And I'm sure that once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. And who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Is Adrian Andrews herself. Right, I think so too. He's likely going along with it too. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt onto Adrian. Yeah, you keep sipping your cognac. I swear this demon'll pay. Mr. Nick! Pearls, where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. Oh. Hopefully Maya's channeling her now, then. A really strong power. Oh. Is that Dick? Mr. Nick, your phone is from Gumshoe. How's it going? You been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. Whew, that's good, pal. What about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where D-Killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time! If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. I was only able to come this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is all our hope for naught? A tent. Huh? A tent. I could see a circus tent. Mia! It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in a dusty little room right now. But I could see a circus tent outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? Yeah, we were just one... There's only one, pal, the Very Big Circus. Yeah, we were just there last chapter. Maya's somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Hey, draw a circle on that map. About a 300-foot radius from the main tent. Hurry! And? I could see a mailbox under the window, just outside. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Okay, what else? What else, Mia? I'm sorry, but it was a very small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like it was in an old office building, maybe the 3rd floor or so. I heard her, an old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there. Just a little longer, pal. Wish us luck. Good luck. Call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal? Mia, Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Oh, shit. Gumshoe, please hurry. Looks like we're out of time. You alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. I just have to make this trial last a little longer. Alright. Court will now reconvene. D. Killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Anders, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Ms. Anders? Of course I have. You've seen it before? That's right. It's only natural the witness has. Ms. Anders, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secrets? Alright. Why? Why does she... Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Really? So this figurine, it's a container of sorts, is it? Yes, looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Yes, this is superb craftsmanship. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Looks like there really was something to that bear after all. It's an elaborate puzzle. A puzzle? That's right. But it looks like an ordinary figurine. True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is this exactly? If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. So you can take it apart. And how would one go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right and push it in. Oh, yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. Oh, this is most interesting. A boy and his new toy. It's like he's 5 all over again. He's still playing with it. Oh! Don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. I think he's lost it. So what did you find after you took the puzzle apart? At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. And how do you know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. Oh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then this was a present from you? That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan. I see. So it was a present from Miss Anders. Witness, let's continue with your testimony. This complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open it. So who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle? Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland. So I doubt there are that many people with this same bear in this country. But this looks like it can be easily broken. Especially if someone wanted to get at what's inside. Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same again once it's been broken. Can't tell. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or a jewelry box? I never told anyone. And as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew. The two of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. Ongard didn't know, right? What does that ellipses mean? I think this is about all I'm gonna get for now. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have come to realize. There's one very important fact we've uncovered, and that is this. This bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we've agreed to this point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside this box? What's inside? That's right. That's what we're going to find out next. Witness? Yes? You're the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence hanging over the courtroom. All eyes are on Miss Anders now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. I've opened it. Is this what you wanted? What is that? It looks like a note. A note, huh? I don't think we need to guess at what this is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. The suicide note? The suicide note left by Juan Carita's former manager, Celeste Impacts. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, Juan Carita himself. It seems Celeste Impacts had very beautiful handwriting, and she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Order! Witness, did you know about this? Yes, I did. I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public, but I couldn't find it anywhere, because it had already been taken by D. Killer. Everything's going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So now that the suicide note's been found, what's the next logical question? What's written on the note? That's right. At least, that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it's only appropriate the contents of this note be made known. I can't stop you, can I? Oh, poor Adrian. Yeah, she said before she wanted to destroy it before it could be, before its contents could go public. I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was gonna burn it, for her sake. I'm deeply sorry, but I cannot allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note out loud. Very well. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Impax left a record of all that had happened to her. About being used and thrown away by Enguarde. About being engaged to Kurita and Enguarde's role in destroying that. And about how she decided, in her despair, to end it all. And that's all Ms. Impax had to say. There's one thing I'd like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Enguarde. Then what? Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes. On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. My word! Matt Enguarde values above all else his refreshing like a spring breeze image. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. It's Enguarde's fault that woman killed herself. And this time he even went so far as to kill someone to stop him from revealing that. How terrible. What a selfish person. I guess there are slimeball lawyers out there who'll defend these creeps too. There's no room for doubt here. Mr. D. Killer's client's goal was to obtain this suicide note. And the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget, the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. It seems we've come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape from this one? Indeed. Well, why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. I know. I have to carry on and buy him some more time. Okay, there are two deadly pieces of evidence. The figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of the situation through one of these. The gavel's already in the judge's hand, Phoenix. Hurry! I don't know. I guess either or. Because there is one thing that comes to mind. Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it. It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook. The assassin took this with him from the scene of the crime after murdering Mr. Kurita. At the request of his client, of course. Right. So what's your point, Mr. Wright? How did he know about it? I don't think it's possible that Mr. D. Killer's client was Matt Ongard. In fact, I think there's a contradiction here. You can't tell just by looking at it that this bear is really a jewelry box. The chances that Matt Ongard thought the note was inside this bear are 0 to none. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly. But I did think of it that way and thought it was rather strange. After all, there's no reason why Mr. Ongard would ever want a jewelry box like this. Order! Order! You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what's your opinion? It was just a flash, but I did think rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon himself. Be quiet, Monokuma. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this. What is that? It's a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession. Matt Ongard and the victim both thought of each other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And? The victim, Juan Corrida, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Ongard. Order! Order! Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? You don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. Uh-oh. I guess we kinda did. Well, sort of. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you're confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I have the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera that I have is not the same one. Last night I searched the victim's house on a hunch. I see you found it there. Using this. Oh. Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Matt Ongard's fingerprints were on there? Well, Phoenix... It looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What am I supposed to say to that evidence? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. Ongard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. He got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that. Hey, now what's that lawyer thinking? Mommy, is that man the bad killer guy? Shush, stop, don't look at him. The way he's sweating is just so, ew, nasty. Phoenix. Yes, Chief? Have you figured out what you're gonna do next yet? What I'm gonna do next? Does running away like a frightened child work? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. Well, what is it, Mia? There is a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate. I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance. Why are you speaking in riddles all of a sudden? Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you? What is this piece of evidence Mia's talking about? Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at, or should I let it go? I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. You're beginning to sound desperate. That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this isn't like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said? So you're telling me I forgot something. You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. But there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. It's what we just found. That is Ms. Impact's suicide note, right? Who knows? Huh? I mean, sure, the suicide note was found inside this bear. Yeah, we're going to suggest it was a forgery. But this bear was in my possession until only a few minutes ago. Which means the handwriting on this suicide note has yet to be analyzed. Oh! So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Ms. Impacts or not, that has yet to be even remotely confirmed. Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be suggesting... Mr. Wright, are you saying the suicide note's a fake? Ms. Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Ongard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it in this bear? Oh. How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. No, he doesn't, but he really doesn't have any other choice to drag this out. Ms. Anders, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt Ongard. I did no such thing. Right. If you're going to pronounce the suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on this suicide note? It says the defense has stated the handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we've reached a point where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible! This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry this trial over one more day. I don't think Maya will physically be able to make it another day. I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate. Handwriting analysis, my butt! That's just a lawyer trying to buy more time. Ongard's guilty. Look, any idiot can tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty! 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 Oh, shit. Huh? What is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. What's with him, and what's with that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened to D-Killer? He got away. What? I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say, besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way I could make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on? We found his hideout, pal. But the two of them were already gone. This is terrible. I'm gonna keep looking for him, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't have any more. We are seriously... Yeah. Do you hear that? They're calling for his head! Mr. Wright, I can't... For us to come this far and... Oh! What is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after... Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch! I threw the phone at him. Mr. Edgeworth? Please, you gotta buy us some more time. Court is in session. He hung up on... Oh, Edgy, why? I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying? Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but... I'm reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for the day. So that's it. Oh! Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth? What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? 30 minutes or it's free, I guess. I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we adjourn for today and then reconvene tomorrow? 30 minutes. Please, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking for. Please, Your Honor. Yeah, Edgeworth is... He is still on our side, I think. Very well. At the prosecution's request, the court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised, I will not allow another recess today. I'm not sure if this is helping or hurting us. The court will now take its final recess of the day. Whew. Right? Well, what's going on with Maya's situation? D-Killer. It looks like he got away again. 30 minutes. We can't find her in that time. Oh. Report! Oh, is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time. Just spit it out. Alright. It looks like we just missed him, sir. But D-Killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things. Can we use any of them as evidence? I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now, and I'm on my way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I gotta put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this. With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission, and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. Pulling out all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that'll be decisive enough to end this. Oh no, what was... Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me! No one can stop me. Oh, fuck. What happened? Sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? We gotta hurry and call for help. But we have no idea where he is. His cell phone's broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen! Well, if there is a way we could find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment? Actually, there is. That's right, there is a way. What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like... Oh, I see. She put a tracking device on him. I'll try to get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Francisca. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth? What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client's guilty, but what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say, Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecutor Edgeworth... Oh, is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, Bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go and take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. Alright, guys. I'm going to take a quick break, and then next time we are going to finish up this, God, what to even say about this chapter? Like I said before, this is often regarded as the best, probably one of, if not the best cases in the series. And those of you watching are probably finding out why. Anyways, I'll take a quick break, and once I'm back, we'll be ready to start the last part of the trial.